Today we're going to talk about the brand identity process that we use here at C's Design and what many design agencies probably use and what you'll go through when you are branding your business or rebranding. So we have 4 pillars. We've got discovery, design, develop and deliver. We have used this process now for a good few years. I'd say before that it was quite messy. We didn't really know sort of what the process should be, and this sort of process that we created and obviously took inspiration from other agencies and industry has actually really helped smooth and streamline that process, especially when it comes to working with clients that know what they want or some that don't know what they want. So everyone sort of works on that same process, and it actually always 90% of the time comes out with the best result, unless obviously there's some stumbling blocks along the way in the process. So discovery entails or includes 3 different things. So obviously it's your inquiry. So you will inquire with us. We normally get messages on Instagram, emails, phone calls, maybe the odd sort of recommendation or something. And what we'll tend to do is just have a bit of a conversation first. We won't pull you into a big Zoom or anything. We just want to sort of see whether you're the right fit for us and we're the right fit for you. So we'll have a initial conversation. It's quite casual, and we'll sort of talk about what you want, your goals, and sort of what you're looking for. So a lot of people will just say, look, I'm looking for a new logo or looking for branding, for our business. How much is it? So we'll sort of answer some of those questions, but what we'll do is we'll essentially go away once we've spoken to you and provide you with an official quotation. Prices can literally differ from $650 plus VAT to 10 grand if it needs to be. So it just depends what you're looking for. Now, a lot of agencies, I'd say, I don't know, there's quite a few out there that will actually just charge like a flat rate or just say yeah, it's 5 grand and that's it. But I don't really believe in charging smaller or medium-sized businesses that haven't got that type of budget that sort of money, especially when it's going to be quite a smooth and quick process depending on what they want. Some people come to us and they know exactly what they want, whereas other people don't. So I think it's just, you've got to be fair and sort of understand what people are actually after, rather than just sort of thinking of the money. And I know obviously we're a business and that's what we're looking to make, but you've also got to work with your clients' budgets and try and get to a good sort of point with them. So that after that phone call, then we'll provide that quotation, and then we'll explain a bit of this process in detail with them. So the next stage of that discovery process is the discovery call. So we'll actually have a proper, more formal call, whether it be on Zoom or whether it be in person, and we'll learn about you and your business and the expectations, and that helps us tailor our approach. So every industry is different, and we will work with any type of industry, whether it be a dentist, a chef, a golf company or brand or clothing brand or apparel, and we will try and work with you on that. And sort of explain what we've worked with before and how we're going to approach that. So we just want to make sure that we're right fit again, and that discovery call just solidifies that really. But that point should really be about when the client is making the decision to go ahead. So obviously if you're going to go ahead, make sure that the price is right for you, make sure that the agency or the designer is the right fit for you, and just make sure that the project has got clear sort of boundaries, which makes us move on to the next sort of element of the process, which is our brand questionnaire. So we actually send out a brand questionnaire to all of our clients. Some fill it in great, fill in every single answer, and some people do not fill a lot in at all. The more you can fill in, the better the output is. Essentially what this is doing is creating a brief for us to work on. So we will ask all of our clients to complete this brand questionnaire, and it just helps us gain a deeper understanding about your goals and your outcomes. And there's actually split into 2 sections. So you've got one section which is about your business, and then the second section is about the sort of creative side. So a lot of people will just inquire and be like, I want it to be this color and I want it to be that, whereas we'll actually ask you to sort of really work on this document, and it might take a week, it might take a day, but it's actually a really good exercise for a lot of our clients to work on. So we would say to Think about your answers. There is also a little link where you can add like your sort of mood board, whether it be on Pinterest or you can just send it as a PDF or images. But that also really helps us get a vibe. And I know like some agencies will create the mood board for the client, but I think it's good for the client to actually sort of put a bit of an input in as well. Get everything out of your head and get it straight into the questionnaire. So once we receive that questionnaire, obviously the financial side of the process is sorted, which we ask 50% of our payments up front and the other half upon completion. We will then move on to the next stage of design. So the first part of the process people always ask is, how long is it going to take? Now, one thing I will say is some people will rush us and be like, we need it in a week, and then it ends up being 3 weeks, and then they don't even end up releasing the final design for quite a long time, but they feel that they need it quick. The more you rush us, the sort of, I'd say, the less quality you're going to get from us, really. We are always aiming and striving to get things done as quick as possible, and we can work to a deadline. We are not against that, but we do always ask for 2 to 3 weeks for our first round of concepts, and we really, really will be able to hone in and give you the best that we can. I'm not saying that we won't do that in a week, but it is always good and better to pre-plan it rather than to rush. So based on our discussions and the insights from your brand questionnaire, we'll then develop and present an initial round of design concepts for your review. So you may see lots of different types of concepts. What we try to do is vary those concepts. We have in the past seen other designers, concept boards or PDFs where they've essentially just sort of made very slight differences in each of the concepts, which we find quite frustrating, really, because I think that people deserve to have those different routes. We normally say if you went for 5 concept designs, then we'll normally do 4 from what you've sort of said and your answers and so on, and then we will do sort of like one rogue one, which allows us to just be really, really creative and sort of move forward and try and get you a different result, because you might have thought of something, but we might think of something completely different, and that's what you're hiring us for. So we'll do that. Once we've sort of done those designs, we'll send those over and then we'll ask for feedback. So after reviewing the concepts, we will ask you to share positive and constructive feedback, either in person, on the phone. Some people do want to do it on WhatsApp and video call, or whatever way you see fit. Some people aren't as comfortable doing it on a call, and some people are comfortable doing that, and some people just want to do it in an email. Once we've done that, we can just proceed with the necessary revisions, and I'd say that 90% of the time people have changes, but there is that 10% where people are like, you've got it, you've done it, and that's that, which, it sometimes feel a bit like, we should have probably gone a bit further, but that does happen. So then obviously the next stage of the design is going into to develop, which is where we'll do the revisions if needed, create revised concepts based on your feedback to ensure the design aligns with your vision. And then once we've gone and done that, we'll get your feedback again, and then we'll work towards finalisation. So once the final revisions are complete, we'll present the designs and for your approval to sign off. So delivery, what we tend to do is once we've done those brand files and you're happy with that and all the assets that go alongside it, we'll then prepare the design files. So we will give you them in all the necessary files for you to have. So there'll be, JPEG, PNG, EPS, PDF, SVG, and AI files. So you will get all of those 6 different file types, and each and every single one of those is used for different things. So obviously JPEG and PNG can use be online, digital. EPS can use for clothing, printing, say if you were going to get it on like a uniform or something. The PDF can also come in handy for things like that. And then your SVG, we don't gatekeep. We are happy for you to import it into Canva. So a lot of our clients use Canva afterwards, want to create their own graphics, and we'll help you set that up if needed. We actually do an add-on for a Canva setup as well for our clients. So once we've given you that, we'll ask you to we'll ask you to sign everything off. Before we give you those final files, we'll ask for remaining payment, and then we'll send them over to you. So like I said before, our timeline in total I haven't said this, but talking of timeline, I'd say 3 to 6 weeks is for more of our basic packages. Some can literally go on for months and months, depending on what it is and how large the project is and the scope of the business and how many people are involved, which we have worked on some projects that have taken a year, whereas some can take, 3 to 4 weeks, depending. But we'd say 3 to 6 weeks is our sort of main timeline of branding. For large projects, we'll just establish and agree on the scope with a timeline with you. While we work across different industries, our process is always consistent. And our ultimate goal is your satisfaction achieved through a streamlined and effective approach backed by years of our experience. So in terms of the pricing, it starts from 600 plus VAT and it can just go up. We will work with you on that budget and we'll work with you on the timeline. We'll put that from the outset. So yeah, that's the branding process. We would say that that's our process. We wouldn't say that this is every agency's process. Everyone has their own different things. But we feel that being a bit more transparent about our process and how we work with people and businesses when they're trying to do that is a good thing to do. It sets expectations and we'll get the best result for you.